Yeah. As far as we've already been shadow banned, let's tiptoe through this one. So yeah, if you're seeing this video, you are one of the play the lottery today
One
because
of the
you're
lucky ones.
yeah.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Well, greetings, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tech Talks, where we provide you the latest tech news for the week. With me, our host, Chris Short.
What's up?
And Ryan Epps.
How you doing?
How are you guys doing? How has your week been?
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
good.
It's hot. It's hot this week.
Great.
Hottest day ever.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, speaking of hot, here are the hottest news for the week. Our first topic for today: Japan's decision to release the wastewater from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station into the Pacific Ocean has sparked both support and criticism. The International Atomic Energy Agency's report, presented to Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, confirms that the discharges of the treated water will be a minimal radiological impact on both people and the environment. Ryan, should people not be concerned about the term minimal radiological impact?
Yeah. When I was reading this, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, minimal. Even if it's minimal, I feel like it's still problematic. You're releasing it into the ocean, and it could still cause problems, even if it's minimal. I read here that they use some advanced liquid processing system, which is interesting, nonetheless. But how much of the radioactivity, how much damage will it cause? I guess, and we'll have to wait and see. It's gone through, and they said everything's gonna be okay. But yeah, it's like that's terrifying, right? Like, how much of an effect will radioactive water have, even if it's just minimal, right? Radioactive water on the environment. We don't even really know. We don't even really know what could happen. I don't know.
Well, I feel like when it comes to radiation, I don't know how much it matters whether it's minimal or maximum. Right?
Yeah.
It's radiation. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, that's my point, right? Like,
Yeah.
minimal or not, there's got to be some other way that they could dispose of this water, some other method, some other place that they could put it, other than just releasing it into the ocean.
I mean, is there not some type of like I don't know, some chemical process or some scientific process, like, I don't know, evaporate it and catch all the radiation? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking.
There has to be a better way than pouring it into the ocean.
Because you have to wonder too what happens to it after that, right? So yeah, it's just like, I don't know. You see what happened with Chernobyl and like the different animals and stuff, how they've transformed literally from just the devastation that happened there. I'm curious to see how it'll affect like actual marine life, if right, again, minimal minimal ratings on the radioactivity of the water, but still.
In terms of the wording that they've used, are we just gonna be expecting right now just baby Godzillas instead of full-blown ones?
Yeah. They're like Komodo dragons on 2 feet now.
Yeah.
Blowing fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you also have to think about like the impact on the fishing industry, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's a very I don't know, I feel like it's almost like they've given up. It's like, I don't know, bro, just pour that shit in the ocean, man. You know what I mean?
Like, we don't know what to do with this. Yeah.
Just to play devil's advocate here, like, we do experience radiation from the sun as well as experience it through X-rays, but the term that they use is actually pretty alarming because it's termed waste.
Yeah, water waste.
Waste is something that you don't want.
Yeah. Well, apparently 11 different countries from the IAEA or whatever were there and tested and ensured that everything would kind of be good and with the water. Even so, there's still so many questions I have. I still have a ton of questions. Like, how is this allowed?
Well,
Yeah.
it says they meet international requirements, which for me is it's a two-sided coin, right? Like, okay, well, thank God we have international requirements. But also it says that on an international scale, a certain amount of radiation is okay. Radiation is not, this is not a natural thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at this, you know, to mutate things, like Christian said, of course, you know, with the sun and stuff, but for the most part, it's not like, you know, like paper, right? Paper waste, it goes back into the earth, everything's hunky-dory. This is not the same.
Yeah, this could have devastating effects on the environment. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
A little terrifying. You're right.
But
Yeah, I have a question for you guys regarding this. Like, if this type of report was actually released in the West, would the Western population not be concerned regarding the wording of minimal radiological impact?
I
There
don't know
have
if
been a
they'd
much
even go
bigger
through with it.
outcry.
I don't think there would definitely be a bigger outcry, that's for sure. But I don't think that the West would even go through with something like that. They would find a different way. That's my opinion. I think there would be a different. I don't know. There's got to be somewhere that you can't just find a tank and just put it in there and like keep it safe. I don't know. Like I really don't know like what you would do with this type of I don't know problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to, that's a very good point, right? Like if you're willing to, it just don't make sense to put this shit in the ocean, like anywhere.
Yeah. And there's no other use case,
right?
Like, there's got to be some other way that they could use the water for other experiments. How or what that would look like, I have no idea.
Upcycle radiation.
I mean, hell, even turn the whole site into a hydro facility, right? For electrical purposes. I mean, there's got to be some other method for it, than just like tossing it into the ocean.
Yeah,
it just feels like such a cop out.
I mean,
like
even
you mentioned, you're like, oh fuck it, let's just toss it in. Like,
even your point with the large tank, like create, I don't know, a memorial or a reminder or some Fukushima. I guess obviously maybe they want to like move past it, but you can't.
Well, was there a reason? Like, why not just leave it there in the first? Like, why is there a reason they have to move the water? Like, why does it have to even move in the first place? That's my question. It's like, why are they even concerned about it?
It's just on the report that it's based on assessments of experts. Like regarding the process, they might have a couple more options that are much more dangerous than the one that they took.
I guess leaving it wouldn't have been viable then.
Maybe seepage is a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, if it's safe to go in the water, then
yeah. I mean, are they at least dumping it on the China side of Japan? Like, don't.
Yeah,
in terms Korea's first.
Yeah, in terms of what they're
North
dumping,
Korea side?
like it says here that it's called tritium. It is considered relatively harmless and poses a radiation hazard only in large doses. Like, what dose are we talking about if you're dumping it in bodies of water?
I mean, are they going based on like dilution?
Yeah, if it's
yes,
water, how much of it is actually retained through time? Shouldn't radioactive things have a half-life with them?
What is that?
Anything radioactive has a half-life, right? An amount of time that it takes for the radiation to actually disappear. So what's the half-life?
Maybe it's different for water. I have no idea. I don't know. It's really interesting because I just don't. I don't know. I can't see the U.S. doing something like this and getting away with it, right? Like this would look so bad. It looks so bad. But it's clear that they're just going to go through with it, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it says they've met requirements. I'm curious as to, I mean, is there, like, when you do risk management, right? Like, there's a certain amount of risk, like people, right? When we drive, there's a risk. We accept
Yeah,
that risk.
no matter what, right when you get in the
Right.
car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I imagine that there's a certain level of, I don't know how to put this, like collateral damage that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to affect
Maybe this is the least.
2% of wildlife or something. It's like, all right, that's fair.
Hmm.
It's like, no, no, like, that's crazy.
Maybe this is just the least detrimental option. I mean, for me, it's like also, you also have to consider to evaporation and rains and stuff. Like that stuff's gonna get evaporated and it's just gonna rain places. So it's not just
Right.
gonna go in the ocean.
They're doing this now, or they've been approved.
It's been approved.
So when are they planning to do it? Because I think it's hurricane season in Japan right now.
Well, next, yeah,
Like you pour that.
Was it September?
Yeah,
September to November.
Yeah, it's close. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the thing about this is, I think radiation affects each of us differently. You're gonna say one dose for one, that's not the same dose for me.
Well, I
Interesting.
mean, obviously there's an acceptable level of radiation, like you made a point about X-rays and shit. So, I mean, what are you going to do? And I personally, I support nuclear energy. I think nuclear energy is a great idea. I think the problem with nuclear energy is that most nuclear energy facilities were built, well, I mean, shit, even if it was 10 years ago, like, technology has improved so much. If we build brand new nuclear facilities, like, you take a car from the 50s, it's nowhere near as safe as a car from today, right? Like, everything's changed.
Yeah.
So you build new facilities, new safety precautions, new containment protocols. There's new materials, there's new ways to track these things, there's new ways to monitor, like, and nuclear energy has a lot of potential. I mean, Obama was pro nuclear energy.
It's actually great that you asked that, Chris, because it allows me to segue into my other question for you guys. Like, do you think this kind of news actually hinders people's acceptance of nuclear power or nuclear energy within other countries?
Not more than not more than when it melted down.
Yeah, I think people already have their reservations, right? I don't think, this is going to change how they feel no matter what, right? Like, there's already people that dislike it and it's dangerous, and that's just the end of it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think this could be kind of an appeasement to those naysayers, right? Like, if they say, look, it's not as bad as we thought it was. If they can frame it in a way, right? Minimal radiological impact. Like, that sounds a lot better than, three-eyed fish, which is what everyone was thinking before, right? Like, you can't fix it. This is an irreversible catastrophe that will destroy the environment. But now it's like, it's not as bad as we thought. So people may be like, all right, you take this into consideration, maybe. And then on top of that, how clean, other than a major spill, nuclear energy is incredibly clean. And it's a lot more.
What happened at Fukushima was also an earthquake, right? It wasn't exactly like it wasn't a malfunction per se.
Right.
There was an earthquake.
Right.
Right? I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It was an earthquake
that caused.
Yeah, fucked their shit up.
Yeah.
But
for me, regarding this news is, since this is an oversight committee that actually approved this, my question right now is, how many countries have been doing this?
Pouring water into pouring minimal
since it's actually
waterways.
It adheres to an oversight committee. Like, it couldn't just be Japan doing it. Might be the only time that it was made public.
Well, I mean, 3 Mile Island. What did they do with all that shit?
Yeah. I mean, I think the point is to keep it locked up, right? They don't want people to know about this kind of thing, these kind of things.
I'm sure Russia's probably doing it right now. They don't give a shit.
Do they still have to do that? Doesn't their president actually poison people directly to their face?
Yeah. I mean, they're so inundated with propaganda. They probably think, like this is everybody's doing it.
I mean, even beyond nuclear, Bill Gates is doing the hydrogen thing, which is kind of interesting, using green hydrogen to make essentially power, right? Clean power for energy consumption. But I mean, when it comes to nuclear, people always just get afraid of the word nuclear. I feel like, right? Nuclear energy, it's just a terrifying concept to most people, just because of what we know. I mean, what happened with Japan years ago with the atomic bomb. It's scary.
I mean, just the term nuke has, if something gets nuked, like, a night at Taco Bell and the next day you've nuked the bathroom. That's not a good, you know what I mean? There's no good correlation with the word nuke.
And the media isn't actually nuclear power. And the media actually isn't helping that much, since every apocalyptic movie is almost regarding nuclear.
Bro, I'll tell you what, that scene from, I think, the first Terminator, when Sarah Connor's holding onto the fence and that shit roasts her, that terrified me.
What is
it, part 1 or part 2? Terminator, when she's like, she's having like that dream or whatever, she's holding onto the fence watching her son play, and then the atomic bomb goes off, and it like, that scared me. That's what, early mid-90s. I was
2, I believe,
10 years old. I was like, oh my god, that's possible.
And beyond nuclear energy, there's other cool stuff that people are doing, like the company I saw a few weeks ago, Transform Materials. They're using microwaves essentially to turn gaseous waste into different materials like acetylene. So it's, terrifying as the word may seem, it's stuff is actually kind of useful to a degree, so long as we use it properly, right? I
mean, do you think there's a chance for rebranding of nuclear power?
Regarding rebranding we could have is the hydrogen stuff, right? It's a little bit different. Obviously, it's completely different. We're not using nuclear energy, but I think that's maybe not rebranding, but
it's a shift, maybe.
I'm much more curious on what their other option was. Like, all of a sudden they decide, let's just dump water than these things.
I mean,
I feel like there's like, what were the other things in their list besides dumping radiation into the water? Like,
well, I feel like there's potential here for, one of our great minds to, I mean, is there not like silica, right, that you can like pour drums of this silica type stuff in there, it soaks it all up, it becomes no longer a seeping liquid, but something that can be, maybe destroyed or at least contained. You know what I'm saying? There has to, like, something. There has
alternative methods.
There has to be something else besides pour it in the ocean. Like, that's, to me, like, that's so fucking 1950s.
Someone actually proposed it, like putting nuclear waste in rockets before. It's just that there's a risk that it could actually explode.
What is that?
Worldwide.
Put it in a
I forgot who it was. It was actually
like
thought about
to ship off to space. Is what you mean?
Yeah, ship the nuclear stuff.
We already have enough. Like, we already have satellites drifting, and you know how much like debris we have, and come on.
That's you know what? When I was a kid, I thought I had a great idea. Like, and when I say kid, I mean like maybe 7 or 8. I remember thinking, obviously I didn't know anything about the cost of this or whatever, but I remember thinking, like, instead of these instead of these landfills, why don't we just ship all our trash to space? Like, nobody's up there.
Ton of room. We got a ton of room up there.
Right? Yeah, just fucking send it up there, man. But if we start sending radioactive material into space and it's just floating up there all willy-nilly, that's when Earth will experience the death rate, I think, because aliens are gonna be like, oh hell no. y'all can destroy yourselves all you want, just keep that shit over there. As soon as we start sending this stuff into space, they're gonna be like, no, y'all, no, it's too much.
We're gonna get docked by the Universal Homeowners
Yeah, yeah. It'd be
Association.
like, yeah, Earth, it's an eyesore. It is officially, what do they call it when condemned? They will condemn Earth like a building, not just condemn us, but like a building.
Yeah.
Cannot
Yeah,
go inside of there. Yeah, all occupants got to go.
Well, word to the wise, don't swim around Japan, I guess.
Yeah, man. I'm curious as to what part of Japan. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Where they're gonna drop the water. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is it going to be
I'm curious
cliffs?
how much, like, what are we talking here? A few tons? Like, how much water are we talking?
Yeah, they never actually specify the doses.
They never say. They never say.
Like I said, it affects each of us differently. Like the same thing. That's why chemotherapy it's not a cure-all.
Well,
I mean, I'm not gonna be mad if I get a quirk or something, like if I get a superpower.
You get a quirk.
So that's what I was.
I wouldn't be mad.
This could be. It's a very strange. I just feel like obviously we are, not experts in this, and probably our knowledge combined doesn't even scratch the surface of the complete fucking thing. But just from layman's, there's no way this is the best option.
Yeah, to the Tech Times audience, as if you're not convinced yet, we're not experts in this. So
anything really.
We greatly appreciate your input regarding this discussion and whether this type of news actually causes concern for you guys. Please leave it in the comments below. And with that being said, we move on to the next topic of the day. California firefighting agency CAL FIRE has embraced the power of artificial intelligence in its ongoing battle against wildfires through newly installed wildfire cameras driven by AI algorithms. Chris, do you think this type of progress can lessen people's fears in the surge of AI-driven products and services? And will this affect the fun for future gender reveal parties?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Are gender reveals still a thing? I guess
there's a bunch of them, I think.
not in California.
Definitely not as nuts as they were in last year, right? Or 2021.
But no, I mean as far as we've already been shadow banned. Let's tiptoe through this one. So yeah, if you're seeing this video, you are one of the play the lottery today.
One of the lucky ones.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the bright side of AI, right? Like AI is taking jobs. It's being incredibly racist at times, apparently. Like I know it did some anti-Asian shit a few months ago.
What?
Yeah. It was like it did. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a while back, but it did something that was really like it was misspelling words to the R's and the L's and stuff. But AI's had a tough run of it here lately as it's become increasingly popular and everybody's like implementing it. Like we talked about before, AI shoes and shit. Like that stuff, that's not helping anybody. And I would imagine the pioneers of AI did not have shoes in mind when they were, doing this shit. But this now, making the world a better place is exactly what AI is for.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this will work actually in the wild, right? How good will it be? How good will it be? That's my question. And where exactly are they going to put it? What if they put it so it runs via cameras that are always on, right? What if the camera turns off, right? What if the fire catches the camera on fire? How do they like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many questions that I have that are like this could go wrong or it's just not in place. Like where do they pick? Is this just going to be in America? Are they going to put them in places that are also in Canada? Yeah, it's just like it sounds awesome. I don't want to sound doom and gloom.
Australia would also benefit from this, right?
A lot of different places.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like, and then how will that work, right? I don't know.
Well, that kind of brings.
But you're right. It is a very positive inclusion with AI, right? It's like we don't really get that very often. It's like
right.
AI shoes, who cares?
Yeah. Well, and it also kind of it raises the question, again, to kind of look at this from all sides. Like, what do you guys think this type of technology will make us more complacent, right? Like, I mean, I guess there's two sides, right? Either it can do things that we don't have to do, therefore the people that would have done it before can now enjoy more time with the family. But also kind of like we're walking around kind of like, staring at the sky because we have no worries because AI is taking care of everything.
I think, over time. It'll take time, but I do think you're absolutely right. We're
I think the
gonna
most
definitely
benefit for the most benefit for this one that they made was actually it's able to predict, or it claims to be able to predict trajectories of wildfires and where it's headed, so people can be evacuated immediately, and fire department can actually be informed where to go and actually plan their route.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great.
But will it, like, so what if, we were joking about this earlier, but what if there's kids that are in the forest having a bonfire or something, right? Like, how does it know that it is a wildfire? That is my question. Beyond just it reading the smoke, how accurate is it? How accurate is it? And how accurate is the other stuff that you said? What if the trajectory is wrong?
Yeah, well, I guess they're gonna need some time for the AI to actually learn this thing through
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Right? They need to gather data.
And
So-
also, now that you mentioned like the kids having a bonfire,
Yeah.
What's different between this and like mass surveillance?
Wildfire smoke?
No,
What's that?
just mass surveillance.
Mm.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, these kids are, doing this, and it's like, hey, police, these kids are over here, and it's like,
I
but
see.
that's not your purpose. You're supposed to be
Yeah.
fighting fires. Why are you all of a sudden,
That's a good point. That's
a
a
lot
good
of
point.
pot
That's
smoking deers will be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's something in AI, man. It's again, like, it's gonna be the future, and it's gonna make us, it's gonna make us a lot, like you said, more complacent with certain things. People might littering might become a problem because people think, well, I can stamp my cigarette out here, because there's cameras around that'll read, like if something happens, like whatever.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean,
I feel like this is a little off topic, but it's kind of a tangent as to what you were saying. Like, it could have the same. I'm afraid to. Well, like the vaccines, right? I feel like all those things, like they said, the vaccine, you can't catch it, you can't spread it. This stuff after you get vaccinated. They said masks work. I feel like those things gave people a false sense of security. Therefore, I'm vaccinated, I have a mask on, I can go and do these things. Whereas
do whatever I want.
it really didn't help you at all. It just made it gave you the idea that you're safe when really it made you more vulnerable because now you are out and about. You know what I'm saying? So AI says, hey, I can, like you were saying, then people's like, AI's got this. Like you can be, and obviously not within the first week, but over the years, as this proves to be very efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Yeah. But at least
that's the problem with the AI, right?
I think like we talk about every week, like at least this is a thing. Perfect or not.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have it a couple weeks ago, right? When the skies were orange and where I live, right? Like,
well, Trudeau would have probably banned it because he likes doing that shit.
Yeah, I'm even more curious right now regarding the application of AI into usually surprising events like earthquakes, which are undetectable by the eye. You can't use actual cameras on earthquakes.
Yeah.
And there's really no build up to an earth. Well, there is, obviously, but normally there's like it's an instantaneous thing because like your whole, it's like this, right? And then it's just
But we
there.
just
Maybe
we
you get
just
a little,
talked about Japan,
but
right?
then it's like
They have fail safes regarding this.
Yeah, but he's saying if as the person, right? As the person standing there, you're in a house, you're not going to know an earthquake's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Until the moment it happens.
Right. It's almost impossible to predict. Like in Japan, they have very good natural disaster infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like they have warning systems. The people are very knowledgeable and prepared. They have like overnight kits. Like everybody has like an overnight kit in their house and shit. And they have a early warning system.
Yep.
For earthquakes that, from what I understand, is usually a few seconds late. Like just they receive text and it's like, or an alert on their phone, and normally it's, like I said, from what I understand, from what I've been told, normally they receive the alert during or after the earthquake, because it's just not fast. Earthquakes just happen.
Yeah.
Like how many seconds before they actually receive it? How many seconds before the earthquake actually hits?
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to tell when the system knows and the recipient receives. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the seconds in between there. But
curious to see how if AI can be implemented in certain like even hurricane watches, right? Predicting hurricanes, predicting other stuff, earthquakes. Maybe it'll be able to help us in spotting these things sooner.
Yeah.
And learning how to
before
avoid
it
them.
even builds up, right? For hurricanes. Like weather.
Well, hurricanes are kind of predictable anyway, right? Like, I mean, we have tropical storms
to a degree.
Like, this might turn into something. The water temperatures, the air temperature, the direction. I think maybe, I guess on earthquakes, I think AI could probably better understand all the information from all the countries for all the years. You know what I mean? Like break all that information down and maybe have a predictability, right? Like this is over the last 100 years, when the temperatures are like this time of year, when the earth is sitting on this rotation, and you know what I'm saying? Like you can do all this shit that really the human brain would obviously take years or whatever to do. AI could do it probably in a matter of days or something,
using large data sets and metadata essentially to predict potentially when another earthquake could or would happen. But you run into the problem. I don't know, that it's great on paper, right? But at the same time, is that how earthquakes work, right? Or will they always happen at the same time? There's a lot of questions to that too.
Right. I mean, it would be nice though, like with the weather report, you see like a 65% chance of rain, a 3% chance of earthquake. Historically speaking.
Well, Christian, you were talking about earlier, it was in 2020, right? During the pandemic, essentially, that a volcano erupted. You have to wonder too if AI could be using that for that too.
Yeah,
how that would work, or how it would look.
A volcano eruption is actually pretty visible.
Yeah, but the prediction, like it's going to do it tomorrow. But the smoke, right? Is the smoke an indication?
The volcanic activity.
Yeah.
Usually, I forgot which one of it. If it's lava or magma that's actually visible, that's having enough activity. It's lava right inside of the volcano.
So what's magma after it comes out?
After it comes out, I think
magma is like mixed with rock, essentially lava mixed with rock.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this, right? Okay. So
we're taking that to the bank, brother.
But pretty much during our experience, it's pretty much the ashfall that caught us that something is happening, because a volcano's effect is pretty far-reaching, not just within the vicinity.
Well, you have to always think about same thing with the Chernobyl, right? Chernobyl happened, and it wasn't so much the surrounding area; the wind picked it up, right? So the wind picked up the outblasts, and even like places around Chernobyl and near it were still getting affected as well, just because the wind was picking it up.
And I was always like acid rain is a real thing, and that shit's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that comes from like volcanoes, right? Like it's spewing out all this chemicals, smoke stuff into the air, and then it just comes back down. I know they have that problem. I think in the South Pacific, like Hawaii and things. Also terrifying. Almost as terrifying as like quicksand.
Yeah, so your stance on gender reveal parties is it will still be ongoing, right?
Yeah, well, no,
Recording
those
how
I mean,
many
hey,
years?
if California itself doesn't have to burn down for the gender reveal, I'll be happy, right?
I think it puts gender reveal, those people that do gender reveals, it makes them vulnerable to the people that don't believe in gender. Be like, how dare you?
Well, that would
Gender
be a
this.
surprising thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like
Speaking of another surprising thing, our
Uh-oh.
third topic for today, the July 6th promise of Meta surprisingly launched its new app, Threads, ahead of its July 6th scheduled release. Meta is meant to be a direct rival of Twitter and is highly mapped up of Instagram to bring all text and media content to the new platform. Ryan, do you think Threads will be able to surpass Twitter?
I don't know if it would surpass Twitter. Definitely won't surpass. Well, I don't want to say definitely. It could. It could. I used a bit of Threads last night and today, and I do think it's like a better platform just because of the fact that you have a limited user base already, and there's no ads, and it just kind of looks a bit better than Twitter, in my opinion. Just, I guess, overall. But will it beat out Twitter? No, I don't think so. Twitter's already as big as as big as possible. It's and growing, maybe not growing, but I don't think it'll beat out Twitter. It's hard to say that now. Looking back, I mean, I remember getting Twitter when I was in high school. I've had it since, right? That's how long Twitter's lasted. And it's still, with Elon's different changes and stuff, it's definitely hit a strange place. A lot of people are jumping ship for Blue Sky too. If anyone's going to topple Twitter, it'll probably be Blue Sky. And that's just because of how Blue Sky has approached itself. Like you only get to go on Blue Sky if you get an invite. And I think that adds a bit of a better use case or a better experience. It's like you're a part of a group that only a few can be in. I think Blue Sky will actually have a better overall trajectory than what is it, Threads. So, but I do like using Threads. But it's just another platform that I have to potentially care about. It's like I even for me personally, I'll tell you right now, I probably use Twitter more than I will Threads, just long term. I'll probably never even use it. I probably won't use Threads as much as I do Twitter now, even though I don't even use Twitter that much. It's one of those things. It's like, how important is it in my life? How important is in my life? Not that very.
right.
Do I need to be going on Threads every day? No. Right? No.
I feel like it's I don't know, man. With social media, I feel like it's more so now than ever because first, right, MySpace, and we had the Facebook, and then whatever came next. It's kind of turning into the soda industry. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody loves Coke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody, including the Bidens, we all love Coke. And then Pepsi came along. You know what I'm saying? Just because. And it's kind of the same thing now. Like Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. It's it's the same product with a different name.
Redone. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you can.
Yeah.
People want this. Sometimes I like Coke. McDonald's has Coke. Wendy's has Pepsi, or KFC, I know for sure has Pepsi.
To your point, do you remember Vine? Vine, and now look at TikTok. Look at how popular TikTok is.
Right.
And it's like I think the one thing Threads will have going forward is the fact that it has that Instagram
Scrollability.
connection. A lot of people love Instagram. Instagram's huge for people, for just creators and marketing. Instagram has a ton of uses. I personally don't use Instagram as much as the next person, but I do think that connection with Instagram will help it in a sense, because a lot of people will definitely use Instagram and Twitter interchangeably, or I'm sorry, Instagram and Threads interchangeably, in that like they'll go from Instagram to Threads, and then they'll like use use both to better like their platform, to better whatever it is. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Threads and Instagram kind of collaborate in that sense, right? If there will be some sort of, I don't know the word, but how they would work together, right? Collaboration in that sense. Yeah, it's like over the years, it's interesting you say that, because there's so many different platforms that have come and just gone. Like there was one called Path, I think, or I don't remember. I just remember signing up for it, and it was a lot like Facebook. And this was years ago. This was maybe when I was still a senior in high school,
What was
around
it called?
2012. I think it was called Path or something like that. I forget. I honestly don't remember the name of it, but it was very similar to Facebook, and it had like it lasted like a week. It lasted like a week, and everyone forgot about it.
Yeah, the only competitor that I actually remember a decade ago was actually Google Wave.
Yeah. I remember when Google was trying to get into the social media landscape. Well, I guess they have YouTube, but that's a little different, I think, personally.
Yeah, that brings me on to a follow-up question. Like, do you guys think there was ever a need for a Twitter competitor?
Yes, I do. I think Twitter is in a point where it needs competition, similar in the sense like you could look at it like Xbox, right, versus PlayStation right now. PlayStation's winning the game and they don't really have to do much. And Xbox is really struggling. And that means there's not much competition for PlayStation, except for, I guess, Starfield coming out soon. And it really leads them to not want to innovate, right? When it comes to the social media landscape and stuff, you see all this stuff with Twitter just kind of like last week with the different changes and how non-Twitter blue users will have to approach the system. I think that stuff needs to just stop. I think Elon is kind of like doing a way too he's driving Twitter into the ground in terms of just its usability. I mean, if users can only read 800 posts a day or something like that, and even companies that aren't signed up into Twitter Blue, it's not feasible, right, for them. So I do think competition is good for Twitter. It absolutely needs it. Is it actual competition? I guess we'll see. I mean, thus far, I think it's a pretty good platform. I think it's a pretty good system, and I mean, again, with the Instagram stuff and Blue Sky too, right? I mean, they both offer pretty good competition to Twitter. It's just how many people are actually gonna jump ship, right? I see a lot of people still saying that they're gonna use Twitter no matter what, right? And even for me, it's just what I've already known. It's like a second nature, right? One of the things you always do in the morning, you wake up, you check Twitter, you check this. It's like that's just been ingrained in your head. It'll be hard for me to be like, oh, I need to check Threads too, right? It'll be hard for me to actually go and be like using a new system. It's hard for people to change up their daily routine in that sense.
I mean,
even if it's good.
Yeah, I mean, but like even now, like I have Twitter, right? And I'm not on there very much. I go there.
How often, like on average, how often do you use it? Do you use are we talking like daily?
No.
Okay.
No, not daily. 3 or 4 times a week, maybe.
Okay.
I just open the app and I do it because I see a screenshot of some crazy shit that was on Twitter on Instagram. And then I'm like, oh, what is this? And I want to go read the thread, and see what's happening. But I just don't. Yeah. And so for like threads, I mean, how different, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, somebody said this shit on threads. Well, then let's go check this out. Somebody said this shit on Twitter. Well, then let's go check this shit out. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be like anything. The experience
will be exactly the same.
Anything you can say. Well, I don't know. Okay, in the realm of general speech, right? Not talking about hate
Uh-huh.
speech, and we're not going to have that conversation today with Twitter and all that stuff. But I mean, we can if y'all want to, but within the realm of shit that's okay to say, you can, you know what I'm saying? The platform, you can say it on either platform.
Yes.
You know, the Bulls, 96 Bulls, best team.
Actually, not necessarily. Not necessarily
Who's
because
better
of
than the
what
Bulls? Oh,
no. Not necessarily in terms of like, because Elon Musk did say, what was it, last week or 2 weeks? I don't even remember at this point. But do you remember his whole rant about cisgender and cis and how that's a word, a cuss word that they don't want on Twitter, right? So clearly there are things you might, I mean, obviously he hasn't like, you know, gone through with that type of stuff. People have probably said it and it doesn't like matter overall. But my point is that with whatever Elon's got going on, you might not be able to say everything you want to say on Twitter, despite what he said before, right? Whereas Threads, Blue Sky, whatever it is, I mean, there's definitely some things you can't say, but it's it's different in that sense, right?
Right, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like outside of the realm of shit that's controversial, like just an average statement, like it can be said anywhere. And I wasn't aware that Blue Sky is by invitation only.
I'm pretty sure it is. I could be wrong, but
as far as I know,
yeah, that's the thing about Blue Sky. Do you think that the by invitation only feature of it will hinder its growth?
I think it creates an echo chamber.
Do you think it's kind of an elitist platform being?
That's one thing that I haven't reached out. I haven't tried to get a Blue Sky invite because I'm with you in that. And then I think it is very much an echo chamber or elitist, both of those things.
Right.
I could probably easily get a Blue Sky invite. I just don't. Again, it's just another platform that I have to worry about, have to set up. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, and the other thing is too, it's like, who am I going to be reading on there? Who am I going to be connecting with on there? You have to think about these type of things, right? I think the cool thing about Threads does have that Instagram, whatever. I can't think of the word right now, but you get all essentially the followers that you have on Instagram. So it's a completely different world, essentially. If you're not following the same people on Instagram as you are on Twitter. So you get like a whole different universe already of just random content that you weren't like. For me, I don't use Instagram as much. So when I went on Threads, I got all this whole new world of just content that and people that I hadn't seen or heard from in years, right? So I think it has that factor with it already has a built-in follower base. You already have built-in connections the moment you join Threads. Whereas on Blue Sky, you're starting from scratch.
Right.
And you don't really know who you're going to get, right? It's like I said, it's invites, who knows who's actually on there, who's not.
Yeah. And then you say the wrong shit and somebody's like, who the fuck invited this guy?
Yeah,
like
since
the whole chain
Threads is actually since Threads is actually mapped up with Instagram, anyone of you think that sooner or later Meta will actually import a couple of their Facebook guidelines when it comes to censorship to Threads?
Yeah. I'm surprised they aren't in place already.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
It's kind of their Bible. You know what I'm saying?
If it is, what's the main attraction for this one compared to Twitter?
It's not Twitter.
It's not Twitter. Yeah.
For all the people that got pissed off when Elon took over and was like,
that's how low the bar is.
And I think also again the Instagram integration. I think that's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram's fun, man. That's my go-to, Instagram.
Yeah.
But, for the mindless scrolling, I'm not even. I mean, I do some TikTok if I'm bored with, but like 98% of my scrolling, because Facebook is for keeping in touch with friends and family at this point. Like I'm not on there, and some shopping. If I need some shit, maybe locally, something quick, like I don't know. Something, but Instagram is my go-to for just mindless scrolling. And the idea that the platform has been extended, maybe, or like there's been like a room created within the same house. You know what I'm saying? Like Facebook's across the street, Twitter's down the road or whatever. Instagram, and now you have Threads. It's in like the same area. It's kind of
Well, for me, it's interesting because it's a whole different, I guess, ecosystem. It's a different app, as
right,
opposed
right,
to
right.
say, like YouTube picked up TikToks, right, with the shorts thing. So I mean, so did Instagram, right?
Right.
Those two things right there, they're on the same app, right? Whereas
Right.
Threads, it's this whole different app. And I think that adds to its like usability. It's like you download this new app and it's like a whole different world. Like I don't know how to put that into words, but I like how it's not on the Instagram app. You don't have to go to the Instagram app and then go to the Threads portion. It's this whole different thing.
Would it be
And
fair?
I find that interesting.
Would a fair analogy, because where I'm at now, I can't download Threads yet, so I'm very ignorant to this, and I'm super curious. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Would you consider Instagram is the live show and Threads is like backstage pass, almost kind of thing? Like it's kind of the same thing. It's just a little more intimate.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
okay.
yet. Not yet.
I'm super.
It's fun. It's fun seeing how people can, because currently all it is just people making fun of Twitter, right? People making fun of Twitter and like companies kind of shilling. That's about all you're getting right now.
Is Elon Musk on Threads?
That's a good question. Probably. Actually, probably. Probably. And it's like not actually Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they have a verification?
I think so. Yeah, they do. They do.
If you're verified on Instagram, you're verified on Threads?
No idea.
No, I'm just curious.
No idea. Go ahead, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, you're good. But so like there is even I'll even show you. There's a verified so almost went to Instagram. So you go to Threads, you go to like your, mentions and stuff. Oh, it's gone. So they had a verified like thing under activity. So there's a whole different
like a
there's
filter?
a whole different section. Yeah, for verified content and stuff. I don't see it anymore. I don't know where it went, but yeah.
So what's the UI UX? Would you because like for me, right, like they came out with Rumble to compete with YouTube. They came with, they come with all these.
Have you seen it yet?
I have not.
I can show you right here. It looks identical to Twitter, but it's just a bit sleeker. So like this is it, right? We scroll, so it looks a lot like, and then the buttons, right, retweet and like, looks almost identical to Twitter.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, it's just yeah, it's like Diet Coke.
And then you got the post in the middle, you got the search. It's literally the exact same app, right? Except just I don't know. In my opinion, it looks a little bit better, a little cleaner.
Right.
And no ads, which is awesome. I think that's like the best part about it.
Is that a forever thing, or is just
no probably not? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Well, it would be nice
if
they
that.
just use
that would be cool.
Because Instagram generates a shitload of money, right? So just take, or Meta in general, like give us an app with no ads. I don't want to.
They were before they were overspending on like metaverse stuff, right?
Yeah,
gotta make that metaverse sink back.
Like that may be the catalyst to drive people. If you give me an ad-free social media app platform, I'm there, because I think right now,
I'll tell you right now, there will never be an ad-free anything.
Fair enough.
Unfortunate as it will, but there will never be an ad-free anything.
Yeah.
I don't know about that,
possible.
guys, since Elon Musk said Twitter was never actually generating money.
Well,
they were paying 700 people to do the work of 14.
Yeah, it wasn't making money for a lot of different reasons, right?
Not to mention they were funding the Democratic Party. Allegedly.
Yeah, speaking of allegedly, let's jump over to our next topic, which is actually connected to this one. Our fourth topic for today is Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is confident that their new app Threads will be the Twitter killer. Zuckerberg, who had been inactive on Twitter since 2012, returned to the platform with the launch of Threads and shared a Spider-Man meme where two Spider-Men are pointing at each other without any captions. Chris, Since Zuckerberg's meme doesn't have any captions on it, what would be the perfect caption for it?
Same shit. Like he recognizes it's the same shit, right? It's Twitter pointing the meme is Twitter pointing at Threads or Threads pointing at Twitter. That's the meme. That's the idea behind it. Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man. You know, prior to where all three Spider-Man met, or whatever in the last one or the one before, whichever one it was. That meme was basically saying, we're all the same. Like, oh, you're the same as me. So yeah, I mean, a simple caption. It would have been better if he had edited the meme to where the two Spider-Man were standing in the Roman Coliseum. That would have been dope.
Yeah,
That
that's the
Sony
thing.
actually tweeted out a meme that concerned that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I could find it and send it to you guys, but yeah, it's good.
Same shit. Yeah, same shit, different Spider-Man.
What about you, Ryan? What do you think should be the caption
For what?
for Zuckerberg's meme?
The two Spider-Men pointing at each other.
Oh god.
It was supposed to be 3, right?
It's supposed to be
left out
3. Yeah.
blue sky.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Someone actually edited it.
There's come on, like very much true in that it is the exact same app. I love the memes coming out of it. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm terrible at I'm awful at giving what are they called? I'm really bad. I usually just use on Instagram, what I used to do is use like very subtle lyric quotes because I'm unoriginal.
Yeah, I used to do this. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the caption game is hard. I lean
Caption
harder.
Game.
I lean harder into like the hashtags, like simple something.
That's
Like like
Yeah.
hashtag fuck this. Or now on Instagram. Yeah, on Instagram, I like to, if I post, rather than do a caption, and it's similar to what you were saying, rather than do a caption, I find the perfect song to play, the 5 or 10 seconds over just a picture.
Yeah.
Like no caption needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I went to a restaurant. I went to a restaurant a few weeks ago and it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it's sad because it's called like everything but cheese, but the everything there is all cheese.
What?
Like mac and cheese, grilled cheese, cheese sticks, these cheese bowls, like everything is infused with cheese. So on the surface level, cheese is fucking fantastic. Cheeseburgers, I got everything.
Yeah.
Was not good. I had a buffalo chicken grilled cheese. You think that would be probably the best sandwich ever.
Sounds good.
Terrible.
Why?
I don't know. The execution, I don't know. I didn't go back, but I did post. I took a picture of, the thing. It says, everything is everything but cheese or whatever. And the song that I played over it was Big Sean. I don't fuck with you. Yeah. Oh, stupid ass bitch. Yeah, that one. No, there's no need for a caption. The song says it all.
Yeah.
I think I did caption it though, like not good or epic fail hashtag not good or something. I don't know. And then I tagged the restaurant. You can't be fucking up cheese, man. Anything but cheese, Jesus.
Yeah, going back on the old Elon and Zuckerberg thing, I think the timing of this is actually pretty perfect because once that fight has been confirmed, a bunch of people will actually be subscribing or registering for Threads just to piss on Zuckerberg.
Musk, you mean Musk? Oh, I see what you mean. So they're gonna get Threads and
just
like
dump on Zuckerberg like crazy.
I hear you. I mean, that defeats the purpose, does it not? Like
I don't think so.
You're using one of his sisters. You're using his platform. You know what I mean? Like kind of defeats.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many Tesla owners shit on Musk.
Like, what would be their alternative? Just speaking to each other on Twitter.
Yeah, just yelling at the clouds, essentially, right?
right?
Yeah.
So they'd have to go to the enemy camp just to be heard. And we wouldn't even know about the retention of those people that have registered just to dump on him, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They'd
But
still
I
have
don't
to
think.
retain.
I mean, Zuckerberg doesn't make himself like he catches stray bullets a lot of times. Like he's not out there like Musk. You know what I mean?
No, he's not.
So
No,
like the
you're
shit that
right.
comes his way is flung at him. Like he's not asking for it a lot of
You're
times.
right. Like Elon Musk's asked for it, right?
Yeah,
Elon
he's out there,
asks
bro.
for it.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah. I'll never
Do
forget
you
when he
think
put up his Elden Ring build and people just were dogging on him.
yeah.
Like
you
people were
guys
just
think
like
this is
making fun of him and stuff. Like he
yeah,
asked for it.
this is a personality shift for Zuckerberg? Do you guys think it is?
Say it
Like
again.
this yeah. Do you think this is a personality shift for Zuckerberg? Like he's the one who
Hmm.
fired the first shot here.
Yeah,
Like
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It's interesting because even with the boxing thing, I was surprised beyond belief that Zuckerberg said, "Yeah, let's do it," because that too was like one of those things. It's like I see Zuckerberg just ignoring it altogether. But
Yeah.
not only did he like say something about it, he was like, "Let's do it. Let's get in the ring." Like that's something I was not expecting. And
I
yeah,
guess
I think I don't
like
know. I don't
aside
know. I
from
don't know.
yeah, like aside from the social network movie, Zuckerberg hasn't leaned that much into his celebrity status, right? S-
No,
This is the
no.
first time we're actually seeing him.
Come out and like be,
Yeah,
joking and being
act like a
funny and being a
celebrity.
human being for once. Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I do.
Do you think he's being advised to do all these things just to boost up the brand?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm gonna go with no on that. But maybe.
Yeah. I
Maybe.
mean, it's not hurting. Obviously, it's not hurting. But I mean, you have Facebook, Instagram fame. If you say, these two things, Facebook changed the world for the most part, really made people reliant on social media even before anything else really came along.
Mhm.
Then Instagram kind of changed it again, right? Like it's a not the same, not the same, share, whatever, interact. And he's done it again. Well, not that it's going to change anything, but he's created another one. So I think Facebook, Instagram fame kind of floats him into like, it's Mark Zuckerberg. You know what I'm saying? Like really anything he does is already, verified. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't have to prove
Yeah.
himself. And I think honestly, the the fight is honest to God. It's a pissing contest at this point. I really think so.
Makes you
Zuck is
wonder.
feeling himself. Zuck won a gold medal a few months ago for whatever it is. He's feeling himself. And who better to I
I
can't
mean,
remove I can't remove the image of
you
celebrity
gotta
death
say that
fight
tweet
from
is
my mind.
funny.
That tweet, yeah.
The Spider-Man tweet is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's
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 pretty-
it's it's right. What's it called? It's right on cue or not on cue. Like
yes.
the it's not over the top. It's like, what I'm saying, it's the perfect meme. Or
It's
yeah,
subtle.
subtle, but
Very subtle, yeah.
yeah. And it's nice to see these guys because any other time, right? If somebody said, "Hey, your product is very similar to this product,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
nine times
Well,
out
I
of ten
guess
people are
This
nine
is
times out of 10 people
again,
are like,
it's him being a
"No."
human being for once.
Yeah.
this is
We're so
this
used to seeing him in some metaverse and being fucking a snake person or not snake, but a
Lizard
reptilian.
what's
man.
But like,
happening to Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg right now reminds me of the rivalry between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs before, with the whole Mac guy versus PC guy thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I could see
Yeah.
that. Good
Yeah.
parallel.
Makes me even wonder
But
why
I wouldn't even call it
the
a
reason
rivalry,
for
right?
is
Like it
threads
wasn't
the
necessarily
reason.
a rivalry as it was two different people, two different lanes.
Like a campaign almost.
I don't know if rivalry is one way of seeing it, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like yeah.
Well, especially with Threads now. With Threads, like you could call it a rivalry for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
I don't know.
It's also for me, I mean, if obviously there's a market for it, but I mean, you can imagine Musk is like, I don't give a shit if you create another Twitter. If you want to do something, create another Tesla. Just Mark.
Does any one of you actually know if Zuckerberg actually owns a Tesla?
Does he?
Does he own?
He might.
Why
I
would
have
he?
no
He
idea.
doesn't. What?
Does
I
he
have
have
no
one?
idea. I haven't seen him with any images regarding him.
I mean, I don't.
Are we all searching Zuckerberg Tesla?
Also, it makes me wonder why he actually leaned into this whole MMA thing. Could it be his way of actually promoting Threads? Since he's
Could
actually in
be.
the conversation again.
Well,
with
when
people
was the first
actually
time you
trending.
guys? When did you guys first hear about Threads?
Yesterday. No, not yesterday. Like this week, maybe when it was announced. Was that like Monday or something?
This week. Same here. I probably knew about it last week, but my point is like he had it waiting. He was waiting to drop this. You know what I mean? Like he was, to your point, Christian, he was sitting there and he could not, like, I think you're absolutely right in that he accepted the fight because he knew he was about to be fighting with him on a, business relation in a sense.
Yeah, wouldn't that suck if this was the fight that they're actually talking about and not necessarily the whole Coliseum thing?
Get him in a ring, please.
Like it's just a battle of apps. Like Chris actually joked before that could just be in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we finish the conversation, I do want to add and say that Jack Dorsey put on a tweet on Twitter. All your threads are belong to us, he said, and it shows app privacy concerning threads, and it's the following data concerning threads, right? The following data may be collected and linked to your identity, and that's health and fitness, financial info, contact info, user content, browsing history, usage data, diagnostics, purchases, location, contacts, searches, literally everything.
Yeah, but
and at the bottom, other data.
Yeah, but that's been the very bread and butter of every social media ever.
Absolutely.
If you think about it, like if you're gonna be signing in for Threads, you might as well actually also sign those privacy concerns, because sooner or later it's gonna be part of your service.
If anything, right, the concern with data and privacy, all of that, you should be more concerned with what Google knows as opposed to what Facebook or Instagram knows. It's just like, right, the obvious.
The genius of those that actually created social media, that they know vanity is actually much more important than privacy.
Yeah, well said.
What?
Yeah, to all our Tech Talks viewers, we're actually interested in knowing if you guys will be subscribing or registering for Threads, or if you're on Twitter, will you be doing the transfer to Threads?
Or Blue Sky.
Or Blue Sky. Let's not forget about them.
Yeah, send Ryan an invite if you're on Blue Sky.
Please.
Yeah, send us an invite, please. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining us this week. Once again, I'm Christian Tijares, and with me are Chris and Ryan. See you guys again next week.
See ya. Be safe.